Hello, this is the first video for UCNH Biology 101. And hello, students. This is Professor Debbie Baker, and I miss being in Haiti and seeing you in person. But for now, we will have to use these recorded lectures for your class. And thank you, Alio, for translating and managing the class. I am recording this using Zoom and still learning how to do this. I will show you the slides. The ones I have added to this lecture are in blue. This is day 4 of our biology class. We already had 3 lectures before campus had to close. And Alio, please stop and translate as needed. Okay. I am recording this from my house. This is my kitchen in the background. Please welcome Alio to your class. Sometimes in the lectures I will use Google Translate, and Alio can pause and translate and clear up the meaning that I intended. I will also try different formats and programs for recording the videos, and you can tell Alio which methods are most efficient. I expect the same level of attendance and attention for Alio as if I was there teaching you in person. You are committing time and money to your education. Please don't take it for granted. And don't think that only high marks will make your life better. Actually, learning and knowing the information and having a good work ethic, such as honesty, compassion, and respect for time and budget, these things will take you further in your careers than just good marks in your class. So let's catch up. I am home in Kansas. I have been working on lakes and streams this summer on scientific studies that will help natural resource managers take better care of our water. I have also taught 2 online classes about birds at the Native American University in my town. This university will do classes online this semester and next semester. The larger state university in my town, the University of Kansas, is doing a mix of online and in-person classes. Here in Kansas, we are free to go to stores and restaurants and banks. In my town, we have to wear masks to do these things, but not all towns in Kansas require masks. COVID is very low in the rural counties that do not have a large population. However, people are still getting sick, so I am being careful. My friends and family are fine, but I do know people who have had COVID, including a friend of my father's who died in April from it, and his wife was also very sick. I hope everyone is well and that you do take precautions to stay healthy. God gave us intelligence and ability to do science so that we can learn more about the world He created, and this helps us to make better decisions. So let's begin this journey again about learning biology. I added these slides in blue to the lectures to help me narrate and to guide you and Alio through the activities. This video 1 will focus on a review of our first 2 days of class. Then video 2 will review the 3rd day of class. I will control the slides, but Alio can pause for translation. Future lectures I will record slide by slide, and Alio will forward to each slide for you to hear the lecture. So I would like Alio to take attendance, either now or at the break. And remember, please be on time and come early to get a chair. Second, I gave one of you a flash drive with all the class materials, including videos. We will continue to follow the syllabus and lectures that are on that flash drive. And you also call it thumb drive. The flash drive also has the videos that the class will watch. So now let's review our first 2 days of class by looking at the quiz that you took before classes ended. This quiz covered Unit 1. And as we go through the quiz, Elio will pause this video to give you time to think and discuss the questions. Then, as we review the questions, I will scroll to the lecture slide that has the corresponding information. So, here we are. You should be seeing quiz 1 on your screen. And the first question, which I will say in English, these first questions is the statement true or false? A eukaryotic cell has a nucleus. Is this true or is it false? And we know by reviewing our slides that this statement is true. Let me find the slide. So here we have prokaryote and eukaryotic cells. And this area here in the eukaryote is the nucleus. The second question is, a plant is a prokaryote. Is that true? Is a plant cell a prokaryote? Or is a plant cell a eukaryote? We can look here. Animal cells and plant cells, they both have nucleuses. So that statement is false because a plant is a eukaryote. The third question is does a plant cell have a nucleus? And you should know the answer to that based on what we just looked at. We decided that plant cells are eukaryotes. Eukaryotes do have nucleuses. So, yes, indeed, a plant cell has a nucleus. Okay, I will go back to the quiz so you can see it. So, eukaryotes have nucleus, true. Plant cell is a prokaryote, false. Plant cells have nucleus, true. What is the smallest unit of life? Is it a cell, nucleus, material, or energy? And we will review our slides. Energy is not life. Living matter is made up of cells, like a plant consists of cells. So living matter itself is not the smallest unit of life. Nucleus, while it has DNA or RNA, it in itself is not alive. But what is alive? A cell. So the cell is the smallest unit of life. And let's think about domains. What are 2 domains of prokaryotes? So I am going to find that slide. Hopefully this is scrolling and recording. So, domains of life was one of the topics that we discussed in March. We have prokaryote cells. There are two domains or two groups of living organisms that have prokaryotic cells. It is bacteria and archaea. So that's the answer. But what domain is a cat? Is a cat a bacteria? No. Is it archaea? No. A cat is an animal. It's in the group of animals. And here we see that there are 4 domains that have eukaryotic cells. Cat is not a protist. It's not a fungus. It's not a plant. It's an animal. So the domain is animal. And then I added a bonus question. This helps you in case you didn't quite understand one of the questions. This gives you a second chance to get some points. So we have a picture of 2 cubes. One is large, one is small. Small cube A, large cube B. Which one has the largest surface area to volume ratio? Well, I can see that B has more surface volume, so the area encasing the cube. It also has larger volume than cube A, but we're asking about the ratio. And for that, I want us to look at this slide, which has 2 circles that demonstrate the same idea. This large circle has more volume. This other circle has less volume, but let's look at the ratio of the surface area. And we can use this chart to look at a small cube. Say the sides of the small cube are each 1 centimeter square. The cube has 6 sides. So 1 centimeter square times 6 equals 6 centimeters squared for the surface area. The volume, though, we have to do length times width times height. Remember, it's 1 centimeter, this distance here. 1 times 1 times 1 still equals 1. So if we take 6 centimeters squared for the surface area, divided by 1 centimeter cubed for the volume, the answer is 6. Let's do the same thing for this large square, this large cube. It is 5 centimeters in each dimension. So 5 times 5 equals 25 for the area of each side. So 25 centimeters for the area of one side. However, there are 6 sides. So we multiply 25 by 6 to get 150 for the surface area. Now we need to figure out the volume. Volume is height times length times width. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. That's a pretty big number. Divide the surface area by the volume, and we get 1.2, which is a smaller number than the ratio or the small cube. So even though the cube or even though the circle is smaller, it has a higher surface area to volume ratio. Okay, and we're learning that because cells are very small. So they have a large surface area to volume ratio. All that surface area means that there can be a lot of exchange of gases and nutrients and other items between the cell and its environment. Okay, so we reviewed the quiz. I wanted to give you some tips for taking exams. If you do not know an answer, I'd like you to still take a guess. You know more than you realize. If you skip an answer, you will definitely miss that question and lose points. But take what you do know and guess, and chances are you will be partially right, and I can give you partial credit. Also, if you read all the questions first, you might get the answer from the other questions. For example, I'm leading you through question 1 and 2 to decide if plant cells have a nucleus. So even if you did not know the answer to number 3, but if you knew these answers to 1 and 2, you could figure out the answer to number 3. Okay, and another tip is to write legibly so there's no doubt about which question you intend. If you circle both of these answers, I'm going to mark it wrong because I don't know which one you meant. If you circle true but decide that you change your mind, put an X through it, circle false, and even write out the word false. So I definitely know which answer you meant. Okay, we will quickly review the first lecture. You have these notes, and the book is also in the library. So we know this has been a hard year, but you are in control of your education. So you can decide to take it a step further and study more. Review information in addition to what I tell you now. At the end, I will have you watch a video that's on the flash drive. And then you will start another video to review Unit 4, which we discussed on the last day of class about bacteria and viruses. So we will get ourselves updated on the status of COVID. Okay, let's quickly review the first lecture, and quickly because I know you have these notes. Elio can go over the rules if he would like. I would expect that you are mature enough to want to try in this class and be on time. All right, we are studying biology, which is the study of life. Why do we study biology? Because you can have a career in biology, or maybe just because you're curious about the living world and God's creation. Through studying biology, you'll become more informed about social and ethical issues. You'll learn also more about your body and health. And remember, we don't want to redo this lecture. We have to keep moving on. We discussed 4 aspects of life. There's 7 properties of life. We discussed how it's organized from DNA up to the organism itself. We discussed that cells are the smallest unit of life. And there's an exchange of matter and energy in the environment. So let's skip ahead. We already mentioned prokaryote and eukaryote cells. Prokaryotes are usually unicellular, very small, and they do not have a nucleus. Eukaryotes have a nucleus, and many are multicellular, but there are also some unicellular eukaryotes. And this scale shows the size of cells, DNA, a chicken egg, a person. This is a logarithmic scale because the size differences are so great that we can't fit a regular scale on this slide. We went over that. These are the parts of a prokaryote cell. It shares, there's 5 things that are in common between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. They both have a plasma membrane, cytosol, cytoplasm, ribosomes, and chromatin. And now I'm going to pause so that Elio can pause this, find the flash drive, and look for the Campbell videos. I would like you to watch the 6th one that says Tour of an Animal Cell, and it is about 4 minutes long. So, okay, now we're back to the lecture. We're looking at animal versus plant cells. We went over the domains of life. Prokaryotes have 2 domains. Eukaryote is its own domain, actually. There's 4 groups underneath the eukaryote. So on that quiz, I should have said a cat is in the domain eukaryote. Within eukaryote, it is in the group animals. In the next video, we will cover bacteria and archaea again. Here's one way to visualize the domains and the kingdoms. Within eukaryote, these 4 groups are called kingdoms. Here's another way to visualize it for the species that we call Panthera pardus. And this is a good thing for you to memorize the taxonomic hierarchy: kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. But you'd memorize it in French: domain, reign, embranchement, class, order, family, genre, espèce. Okay. And yet another way, I find it easier to see pictures like this, diagrams like this, than to just read a bunch of words in a text. So this helps me see that coyotes and wolves are 2 species that are in the genus Canis, which is in the family Canidae, and they are in the order carnivore. And I'm looking at my screen over here on the right, in which I have the big picture of my lecture. Okay, why do we use scientific names? Because common names are confusing if you don't speak the language. Rats are called rats in both English and Creole. However, taco in English means this food from Mexico. Taco in Creole is this bird that I would call a cuckoo. We can even classify people using this system, or bats, or any other animal. So people and bats are eukaryotes. We're animals with a spinal column, chordata. We're mammals because we give milk to our babies. The mama produces milk. Then we separate. Chiroptera is the order for bats. Primates is the order for people. And here is a nice human that we all miss. Do you know who he is? Okay. So at the end of each lecture, I have review questions. And note, where did you see these review questions again? In your quiz. So make sure you know these. And process of science, the scientific method, we will say for a different lecture. Okay, so I already asked you to watch this video. Okay, we just covered unit 1 that we did on the first 2 days of class in March. You need to study this on your own because it will be on the midterm exam, the intra exam intra. Remember, the book is in the library. There's a copy at the front desk. I hope it is open. I may have put the book on the flash drive. I don't remember if there was room. There are quizzes in the book to help you study. I'm going to stop this video. Aleo can give you a short break, and then we will continue with video 2. Whoops. So now I need to stop recording. Oh, let me show you my house real quick. So there's the kitchen, little kitchen. There's my living room. What do you call that? Salon? My living room. I have a bedroom that you can't see, and this is outside, the porch outside. Rusty! And I have a dog. You can see him in the corner. And I have 2 cats that will probably make appearances in the videos. Okay, I wish I could see you guys. Maybe Aleo can record your voices and send me on WhatsApp. Okay, goodbye.